Hey folks, welcome back to the Lone Pine Tarot, or of course, welcome to Lone Pine Tarot for the very first time if you're brand new here. Thank you so much for joining me today for the final day, day 5 of what I call Blossoms and Blessings Week 2025. I just wanted to give a quick shout out and thank you to everybody who watched at least one of the readings this week. I always love doing the seasonally themed weeks in our community. I just think it's a fun way to celebrate the season. And I've read all of your comments. Thank you so much for those to everybody who did leave a comment down below each and every reading. And if you have any feedback about the theme week in general, feel free to drop that down below here under the final day. But without further ado, let us actually get to the pick a card reading you clicked on, which, as you can tell by the title, we're doing an Ancestor message. I just thought it would be nice to go along with the theme of, trees as they're budding out this time of year, from roots to branches, ancestors to you. What particular message do they have in mind that they want you to know at this time? So without further ado, let us pick our pile leaders using the Sickle Oracle. So ancestors of our community collectively, if you could please help guide us to the 3 right cards for them to choose their messages with. Thank you. Calling on ancestors. Okay, that one says to me pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. Okay, let's reveal them together. So for pile 1 today, over here on the left, your Seed and Sickle, oh beautiful, Seed and Sickle Oracle is number 50, the Mandrake. Okay, God, this deck is gorgeous. Okay, so for pile 2, your card today is number 51, Henbane. Alright, and for pile 3, last but not least on the right, your card today is, and how fitting for the time of year, you have the cherry blossoms. Which I think, I could be wrong, but around this time of year, usually the sakura blossoms do tend to bloom, I think, over in, at least I know in Japan. I know Japan has sakura blossoms, of course, but very beautiful. So, just a quick refresher, pile 1 Mandrake, pile 2 Henbane, pile 3 Cherry, but of course you're always welcome to pause right now if you need more time to decide what pile you would like read for you. If you're new to pick a card readings, my quick little method is always just to take in a deep cleansing breath. Imagine you're breathing in light into your lungs, hold it for just a moment. And then when you breathe it back out and look at the cards again, what draws your eye, what feels right in your gut, and that's the pile I recommend you choose. But whatever your method of choosing your pile, when you are ready, you can drop down to the description box below and or the top pinned comment beneath the reading. Click on the timestamp there, and I'll see you in our chat about the message from your ancestors, from roots to branches. Toodaloo. Hello there, my wonderful pile number 1. Welcome today to your pick a card reading that is a springtime ancestor message for you. As you recall, your pile leader was the very beautiful purple and gold Mandrake. So we will set your Mandrake off to the left. And let's begin with shuffling some cards to set the table. So I want to first glimpse into a little bit more about who this ancestor is that's coming forward for you, pile 1. Actually, as I'm saying that, I feel like there's 2, and I feel like it's a set of twins in your ancestry. For some reason, really strongly, I just got the sense of twins. I don't know if you have any twins in your ancestry. I suppose most families have at least one pair, but... And I think it's twin woman. I can't tell if they're fraternal or identical, but one of the two. Oh, okay, well, so one card came out. I was actually going to ask to see if maybe 2 could come out. If it is twins, because... obviously, that means 2 different people. So let's first look at this card. We have the Astronomer with the element of air, discovery, and augury. And then the second card is the Painter with the element of water, productivity, and creation. Okay, so it's very possible that because they're twins, obviously they're born on the same day. But having both air and water could mean that, like, maybe they were, like, a sun air, moon water sign, or vice versa, something like that. And especially with the prevalence of the keywords here, discovery, augury, productivity, and creation, it's either they were both kind of like this, or there was, like, one twin who was more of the scientific kind of, like, logical, and we don't really use, I guess, left versus right brain terminology, at least not, like, scientifically anymore, but I would say they're more like a left-brained person. And then on the other hand, there could have been, like, another twin that was more of the right-brained person, okay? More creative, more emotional, more on the side of, like, imagination rather than, like, cold, hard, logical facts. So, you know, it's funny because it's like they almost feel like opposites in a way. Like, one twin was very much so this way, and one twin was very much so the other way. Though it is possible that maybe there was a little bit of a bleed over. But so if you have any ancestors in your family, pile 1, that were twins, and they were very opposite of each other, that's kind of who I'm feeling is coming through for you today, okay? So let's put these cards up here, and then let's see if there's any other cards that I typically use for identifying who they were. I'm going to draw maybe just 3 tarot cards. Actually, no, let's do Lenormand. We're going to do Lenormand for this one. I'm feeling Lenormand. Okay, so ladies, because I'm feeling 2 women, could you tell me a little bit more about who you are that pile 1 might recognize you by? Thank you. Maybe 3 Lenormand. Okay, so the home. Okay, so definitely woman. So that's what I was saying. Is like, I feel like there's 2 women and they're twin women. Okay. And then we have this card right here in the dog. Okay, so there's something about home being a woman's loyalty. I don't know if they, like, live together, pile 1, or did for the majority of their lives, or it's possible that, like, they had a dog that they shared, or, I mean, like I said, reading it too, just like a straight up Lenormand reading, it's something about home of a woman's loyalty. So maybe, like, loyalty was also a very prominent aspect of their relationship together. Like, maybe they struggled with loyalty to each other, or they were very loyal to each other, which makes sense because usually twins have, like, you know, a close relationship like that, right? But there's something along those lines. And 2, could have been with the home being a woman at home. They were stay-at-home mothers, which of course was more common. Definitely, you know, back further, pre-60s, 1960s, things like that. If I had to pinpoint a decade, pile 1, I would say I get from 1900 to 1950 with these ladies. Okay. At least, maybe not necessarily the time that they were born, but the time that they lived. Okay. Anything else I can tell? Maybe kind of reddish brown hair, especially because both the dog and the woman have kind of like reddish brown hair, or like dark hair in general. And then I get the sense that they were kind of protective. Because that's another way that the loyalty might come about, is being like a protective type of person, or they were really protective of each other. Something like that. So that's the ancestor, or I should say plural ancestors, who are coming forward for you today, pile 1. We have a pair of female twins, okay, who are very opposite, but I get the feeling they were very close. Okay, which makes sense, because even if, you know, post-death, you know, these 2 are still together, still working together, it seems like even in the afterlife, they're twins still, kind of like, in a way of like being really, really close souls to each other. You know, maybe even soulmates in some way, of course, platonically. But so let's see, what do these twin women want to say to you? What do these twins want to say? I do have your pile leader, which is your Mandrake here, right? Pile 1. And the Mandrake is both, so there's 2 guidebooks that come with the Citadel Oracle, right? And one talks about the Mandrake meaning looking out for little synchronicities, dropping little signs. So I don't know if maybe recently you've been seeing a lot of common signs or synchronicities from these twin women. Like, think about things that were either like important to them in their lives, or like symbols you might associate with them. If you've been seeing that a lot lately, that's them telling you, pile one, hey, that's been us. We're trying to give you a bit of a sign. We're trying to give you a little bit of a message. Okay, something along those lines. The other meaning of the Mandrake is from the other guidebook that comes with this particular deck, talks about how don't judge yourself by your speed versus the speed of how others are going. Okay. Maybe that was even something that was very prominent in their lives, pile one. Like maybe it was comparison with each other. Like maybe one twin kind of like went really far in one area, and then the other twin like went kind of slower in one area of life. Like, you know, maybe one was really good with a career and went really far that way, and then the other twin didn't make it so far in career or like their main like everyday goals, but they were really good with family versus instead. Although, like I said, I think I feel stay-at-home mom energy because of the Lenormand cards that came out. So, but it kind of seems like maybe that's also part of their story, was like comparison of others, and comparison being the theft of joy, especially when it comes to the speed or the movement of things. And I think that's part of their message for you today, pile one, is they want to bring this up to you. Like maybe you've been comparing yourself a lot to others recently, or maybe especially like to other people of the same age or same, you know, income bracket or something along those lines, and you feeling like that you're falling short in comparison. And I think, that's at least part of their message today. Although, I also did a meditation before every single pile today. And your meditation, pile one, the imagery that came forward intuitively for me was something about you being on a boat. No, not literally, but, or maybe literally, but you are going on a boat soon. And there was something about, if I pull my notes forward here, something about a boat hitting a rock, and then you having to like bail the water, but then bright sunshine came along and like dried out the water, and then you got floating again. So I don't know if recently you hit like a really major obstacle in your life. Like maybe you got like a financial hit of some sort. Maybe even like a car has been having issues lately, like kind of thinking of, instead of a boat, like some sort of vehicle of movement, right? Or it's like you, it's some situation where you feel like you've had to bail out a lot of water. You're like, oh crap, I gotta get this fixed really quick. So there's something about that maybe too that they want to talk to you about. But the bright sunshine that was part of the meditation imagery that came forward is, I really feel like they're trying to say, pile one, sunshine is on the way, okay? Like there's going to be sunshine that'll come forward, and it's going to dry out this water that you've been having to keep bailing out. Something out of your control that's going to come in and swoop in, and it's going to help kind of alleviate some of that stress for you, okay? So that is what I saw for during the meditation for you, pile one. And then let's get to their message beyond those things with the other cards. So, first let's do the Dream Ritual Oracle. We'll talk about that. Oopsie, that was quite the poor shuffle. Oh boy. Look at me go. We'll try it this way. Okay. So twin ladies, could you tell us a little bit more about what do you want to talk to pile one about today? I know we covered some other things, but anything else? Surrender. Surrender. What an interesting card. And then we'll put that one over here, over the painter. Well, actually, here's what we're going to do. Because that one has text on the bottom and the surrendered. Well, they both have text on the bottom, but you know what I mean. We'll cover that one a little bit. So surrender. Like go with the flow with something. We have the water imagery again, like the bailing of the boat. Okay, let's also grab a main Lenormand reading here. Anything else, ladies? Thank you. 3 cards. Okay, we got the cat, which is a variation of the dog, which the dog did come out earlier for them when we were asking who they were. The cat, the chickens, and the cross, a burden to bear or a sacrifice. Let's see. So we have loyalty, loyal communication being a burden. Interesting, pile one. Loyal communication. That's a burden. I don't know if like a friend or someone you really trust or love has said something kind of nasty lately that kind of hit you wrong, pile one. like they said something, it kind of put either a burden on you, or it was like someone who's normally very friendly, but then all of a sudden out of like left field, they said something kind of nasty and you're like, what? Where'd that come from? I feel like there's something along those lines. Maybe that's kind of like the rock in that metaphor of the boat hitting the stone and then having to bail out water. Like maybe the thing that they said to you, it kind of like took the wind out of your sails and sunk your ship a little bit. And so you were upset. Yeah, and then let's see. I also have, of course, we'll have tarot, right? Let's look at I have my little Gravity Falls deck too. I like that one a lot. Anything else you want to say, ladies? What else are you, as a part of this message? Thank you. Okay, yeah, Bill Cipher, look at that. So this actually comes from a show. Those who watch my videos before Gravity Falls, I'll explain though, because I know not everyone has seen it. So basically this is the antagonist of that particular show. Manipulative, powerful, simmering anger. So yeah, like I think maybe someone recently said something that was kind of like ouchy to you. And you were like, well, where'd that come from? And it took the wind out of your sails. Like I said, pile one, it's like they didn't. And so I think maybe you're wondering, like, well, were they right about me, or were they right about my goal? Like, using the boat metaphor again, like, perhaps the boat is maybe a certain dream that you've been working on, or a goal that you've been working on, pile one, and this person said something, and it kind of just, boom, it was like the Titanic hitting the iceberg, and you're like, okay, wait a minute. Now my motivation is in the trash, because were they right? Like, am I wrong in doing this? Or it could have been like, maybe it was just like a personal insult to you, pile one, and you're like, ouch, like, I don't feel really good about myself after that. So it's like they said something just wasn't very nice. So these twins are coming forward and they're like, we want to talk about this today. And then we have, oh yeah. So the mind controlling CD, catchy tune, subliminally evil, dated. And it's like something you listen to because it's a CD. Yeah, it's like someone said something. And even if you look at this, they have like a skull in their mouth. It's like someone saying something nasty that just kind of deadened you inside, or it was like something that you didn't really want to listen to. Okay, so let's grab the tarot cards now too. So what do you want to say about this situation, twin ancestors here? Thank you. It's like you're wondering, well, should I surrender to this? Okay, card number 1. Oh, yeah, look at that. So that's kind of what I was saying, pile 1. The Three of Pentacles reversed is a lack of teamwork. Literally, like, people not working well together. It could mean that this was someone at a job, because Pentacles can indicate, like, career. Boy. Okay, so that's the inciting incident. And then what happened next? We've got the King of Pentacles. So that could indicate that it was someone like in a leadership position at your job, or it could also be like if it was a loved one outside of work, it's possible that this is someone that you typically know as being very wise with money or finances, because a King of Pentacles is usually someone who's very good at like money and business related decisions. All right. And maybe that's why you took them so seriously, because you're like, oh my God, like this person knows their stuff when it comes to this goal I have in mind. Are they right? Or it could be like, remember we talked about the Mandrake too, comparison is the theft of joy. Maybe part of the wind coming out of your sails is like something that they said that was like, oh, I'm doing so well at this thing. And it's like similar to something that you're doing and you're feeling like, oh man, like, how come I'm not there yet? Am I less successful than them? Am I less worthy of attaining this goal than they are? Those types of feelings, pile 1. Then we have the Star reversed as the heart of the matter. Yeah, losing hope or faith in something. That's exactly what I was talking about. It's like wind out of your sails. That's exactly kind of what the Star reversed means. It means you lost hope, you lost faith. You're like, should I even keep trying? Okay, so that's what that boat is. You're losing wind. Okay. But then... okay, overcoming the pain. And I almost wonder if this is like, this is the Three of Swords reversed, by the way. This is kind of like the point of sunshine that I saw when I was meditating on your pile today, pile 1, before the recording. And it's funny too, because it's rain, literally, but reversed. It's like the sun coming out. The storm is passing, like that sunshine I saw. And so whatever you are upset about in this area of your life recently, pile 1, that pain is coming to an end. It's like that sunshine I was talking about. This is what your twin ancestors want to tell you. They're like, hey, wait a minute, don't get discouraged. Things are going to get better. The pain is going to reduce. And then last but not least, we have, interesting, the Nine of Pentacles reversed as an outcome. Okay, so reading that as an outcome, pile 1. So a Nine of Pentacles reversed is sometimes an indicator of making sure that you're getting out of something that you put in. It's kind of like, you put in blood, sweat, tears into something, and then making sure that you get the exact same value that you put into it out, right? Like, or putting a quarter in a gumball machine and making sure you get your gumball, right? Using a very simple example, but you can also see it as a card of standing up for yourself more when it comes to making sure that you're duly paid based on what you have done and the work that you've done. So, I almost wonder too if there's an element of this where you're getting kind of screwed over when it comes to money in some way. And right now, it's like there's more that you could be doing to make sure that you turn that Nine of Pentacles right side up so that you can enjoy the fruits of your labor. There's positive signs with the Three of Swords reversed, meaning the pain is coming to an end, but there's still more that you could be doing to make sure that you get what you're supposed to be getting. And I think, pile 1, like I hate to read cards like in a way of assuming like that the other person was doing it on purpose, but I am getting a feeling out of this that maybe like, especially if it was a situation where it was like, say, a boss, and maybe you asked for a promotion and they said, oh, well, no, because you're bad at this thing. And then maybe that was like the negative thing that kind of like took the wind out of your sails that we were talking about before. If that is the case, or if your situation is similar, just using that as an example, I almost wonder if they said it because they wanted to make you feel like you weren't worth the thing that you were asking for. Do you know what I kind of mean, pile 1? Like, I feel like that's why these twin ancestors of yours are really emphasizing this, because it's like you're not getting, like you're on the path to mending from the hurt of what they said, but you're still needing to do more to extract that value, okay, to get what you're worth. So I'm going to draw some more tarot cards, pile 1, because I want to hear what these ancestors want to say about, like, what they advise that you do in that case, okay, so that you do get what you're worth. Because I get the feeling of, with these twin ancestors, these ladies, that they, I don't know if they had life lessons where they struggled with their worth a lot or standing up for themselves a lot. Maybe that's why they're so protective, like we were talking about earlier. Like, I think I get, like, a protective feeling off of these ladies, and so it's like they want to make sure that you get your just dues, because maybe they got screwed over a lot in life. And then I'm also going to grab one more of the Divinimation ones. Yeah. So, okay, twin ancestor ladies of pile 1, what advice do you have for them to turn that Pentacles right side up? Mabel Land, dream come true, soft illusion. Mabel Land, dream come true. Soft. Okay, so I almost want to say they want you to take like a more gentle approach to something. And then let's grab the tarot cards. Let's do 3 pleas of advice. Yeah, they want you to get your just dues. And please, also they're saying don't let what that person said get to you, pile 1. Because I think it was said not out of truth. It was said out of wanting to make you feel like you weren't worth enough something that you were asking for. Okay, and then so advice, you have strength reversed. Okay, be more courageous, be more brave. Pile 1. As hard as it is, they're telling you to get what you're worth, you need to be braver. You need to be bolder. You need to have courage. That's what strength is all about. Okay, and then we have is that the 9 of Cups? Yes, that is the 9 of Cups reversed. I'm going to read that with the 3rd card, because that can be kind of situational. in my opinion. And then we have the Ace of Swords reversed. Let's all these reversals. Okay, so something to do with a new idea as well. So pile 1, if there's any advice that you take away from this reading from these twin ancestors of yours, what these ladies are saying is, okay, so we talked about strength and being courageous, I should say. Yes. And then, yes, the Knight of Cups is about being emotionally satisfied. Oh, that's what they're saying. Okay, it's kind of repetitive, pile 1, but they're really emphasizing with the 9 of Cups that you're worth a lot more than you think you are. I think maybe you tend to, like, have a habit of undervaluing yourself, especially when it comes to your emotions, okay? Because the Cups specifically is the suit of emotions in tarot. And a 9 of Cups is somebody that, after they've done the hard work, and it's funny because it was 9 of Pentacles before, so 9 is coming up quite a lot. It's like the emotional satisfaction after a long emotional journey, but reversed, it's like you need to continue protecting yourself and standing up for yourself and expressing the way that you feel when maybe people aren't being fair to you, okay? Otherwise, like, people just, I mean, I get the feeling off this reading, pile 1, that these ancestors are saying, like, don't let people walk all over you. Like, yes, there's responsibility on the side of the people who walk on other people. Obviously, like, they shouldn't be walking all over other people, but at the same time, there's things that you can do to stand up for yourself more. Also, the Ace of Swords reversed tells me, typically I see that as like the light bulb moment card, but sometimes it can also mean being unwilling to say something, being unwilling to say things. Speak up a little bit more. Yes, do take a soft approach with the Maybelline card that you got. They want you to take like a soft, gentle approach, very professional, but at the same time, well, what's that phrase? Being the iron hand and the velvet glove. That's what you should be, is that they're saying in terms of advice. So if you've been struggling recently with something like this, with maybe like people walking all over you or a boss denying you like a promotion because they said something kind of like, oh, you're not good enough, I don't know, something stupid like that was just because they were trying to justify not paying you more money because maybe they're a jerk, I don't know, but something along those lines, pile 1. Like, please stand up for yourself more. Please know that nasty thing that might have been said might have been a little bit more of like a manipulation just to kind of make you feel like you weren't good enough so that they could justify not paying you more or whatever it was that you were trying to kind of like, whatever benefit that you were trying to ask for, right? And two, it's interesting because, like, Maybelline talks about it like an illusion, too. Like, it's like they set an illusion. And it's interesting because Maybelline, in the context of the show that this particular deck comes from, is a trap. It's a trap, so it's like kind of getting stuck in a bubble. Like, it's almost like the thing that they said has trapped you in this illusion of, like, thinking, oh, yeah, maybe they're right. Maybe I am not good enough for this, or going after this goal, or getting this thing that I've asked for. But it's like these ancestors, these twin ladies are coming forward to, like, pop that bubble and say, wait a minute, no, this is reality over here. You are good enough. You just have to ask for it more, because it's almost like the person that you're dealing with, that's the gatekeeper to the thing that you're seeking, needs a little bit more of a courageous verbal push. Professional, but courageous and bolder, okay? Or same thing too, even if it's not like a person gatekeeping you, pile 1, it could be like negative self-talk as well. It could be that they want you to feel better about yourself. They want you to feel more emotionally, because sometimes even the 9 of Cups can be the smug card, like being smug about something. So they're actually being like, you need to be more proud of what you're doing. Same thing with strength, because strength typically has a lion. And what animal in the whole entire animal kingdom is more proud than a lion, right? Be more proud. Pat yourself on the back more. Be more courageous with how much you appreciate everything that you do. And be more, like, have more courage to celebrate yourself for the things that you've done and everything that you've been through, okay? So this is kind of a pep talk reading from these twin ancestors, okay? They're kind of like, girl, come on. Or, well, boy, or whatever your gender, you know what I mean? But, like, come on. Stand up for yourself more. Believe in yourself more. Things like that. Because they're seeing a lot in you right now that I think that you don't see yourself. And they want you to get what you are owed. They want you to live the life that you deserve, because they know how much hard work you put in, pile 1, and they don't want you to get, like, either taken advantage of or to feel like you're not good enough. Okay, they're very, like, supportive I almost get like auntie vibes, like just supportive aunties, even if they weren't necessarily like an aunt figure in your life. But yeah. Okay. So that is your reading for today, my wonderful pile 1. And that is their advice to you from these twin ladies. So thank you so much, of course, to the ancestors that came in. We always thank ancestors for coming in and giving us their advice. But also thank you to you, pile 1, for tuning in. I hope the reading was helpful. I hope it resonated. I hope you liked it. If so, please like, please comment, please subscribe to the channel if you have not done so yet. That just helps me out a little bit, which helps me provide more readings for both you and others in the future. And as is our tradition on Lone Pine Tarot, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. There you go, I got it out. Wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, pile 1. Hello there, my wonderful pile number 2. Welcome today to your pick a card reading ancestor message for the spring. As you recall, the pile leader you were drawn to was the beautiful number 51 Henbane. So we'll set that off to the left to begin, and as I always like to do with ancestor readings, I like to try to connect to the ancestor first and ask them who they are coming forward for you generally, right? So ancestor of pile 2, if you could please. Could you tell us a little bit more about who you are as a person? Thank you. Maybe in a way that pile 2 recognizes you. Thank you. Who are you? That was... that's very funny, pile 2, because literally the ancestors of pile 1 were a set of twins that came through. So I almost wonder maybe if twins are coming through you too, or for you too. Let's see. So we got twins, which of course makes us think of Gemini, right? Maybe a Gemini sign of this person or these people if it's multiple. We have dual natures and self-protection with the element of water. So it could also be a water sign. And then we have, look at these birds. What's with all the birds? We have the element of earth, the walker, the unknown, a journey. So right off the bat, pile 2, definitely it's possible that these are twins coming out, or that they were a twin and it's just one twin coming forward. Could also mean that they're a Gemini, although the elemental correspondence I'm seeing right here is water and earth. So maybe, although there are a lot of birds, lots of birds, that could also mean that there's a symbolism with them that you see a lot with like birds. Maybe they really liked a particular species of bird, and even their henbane, of course we think of hen, H-E-N, like a chicken, makes me think of some sort of synchronicity or symbolism with, of course, yeah, cranes, and then these look like swallows almost. Something to do with birds though. And I get the sense with this ancestor that they had a hard time. I think they were really active when they were younger, but I'm hearing something about having a hard time walking at some point. Or maybe they were always kind of like they were active, but they were always in a wheelchair or had some sort of like disability with their legs. Especially because of the walker. Because I literally think of literally using a walker, but... And the color red is also prominent because not only is there red on the head of the cranes, but also the neck and the top of the head of the swallows. There's red. So red head. Maybe they had ginger hair or red hair. Lots of symbolism like that. I get the sense, well, I don't know, I'm not really getting a specific gender. And of course, for every single one of you watching, it's going to be a little bit different as to what, yes, we're keying into an ancestor, but also it's kind of like a collective reading, right, being a general reading. So I'm going to grab Lenormand like I did for pile 1. I'm going to ask, so ancestor, or maybe even if you're a set of twins coming out for pile 2, could you tell us a little bit more about who you are with Lenormand, please? 3 cards. Could have been also someone that traveled a lot. Someone who was like a family protector. God, you sound a lot like pile 1 today. I don't know what that is, but... So actually, if you were drawn to pile 1, pile 2, maybe check pile 1 out as well. But we do have, okay, the snake. We have the man. Okay, so we have a little bit of masculine energy coming forward, but we also have the woman. So I wonder if that's why no gender was coming forward. So I think for some of you, this is a male ancestor, and some of you, this is a female. Okay. But reading Lenormand bluntly, because I did ask, the ancestor who they were. Also it could mean if they were twins, like if they had a twin, this particular person, that it was a female and a male twin, which is different from pile 1. They had 2 female twins that came forward. So, but yeah, reading this more bluntly, it just is a Lenormand reading. It says something about a snake, which can mean feminine, but it can also mean like renewal. It can mean being fierce. So a fierce man and woman. Fierce. Protective. What an interesting reading. And then we have the red come forward again, especially with the cloak of the man, but also the eyes of the snake are red. I don't know, maybe their favorite color was red too. But I think what's interesting about your reading, pile 2, is I'm not getting both siblings coming forward like I did for pile 1. I think this is just one sibling, but they might have been a twin in their life. Like, the twin isn't coming through with them, but it's just them by themselves. That, or they had a sibling that was very similar to them, but might not have been an exact, shared the womb kind of twin. And being fierce. I'm getting the sense, pile 2, that this ancestor also might have had some sort of job to do with death. And I know that sounds kind of weird on the surface, but like mortician is possible. I also see like sometimes too like pastors, obviously, or like religious leaders, things like that, like rabbi. I'm trying to think of the other religious leaders deal with death a lot too, right? Because they have to conduct funeral services. They have to do like last rites, things like that. And then on top of that, like another career coming forward is, even if it wasn't like death in that way, it was someone that had seen a lot of death. So maybe they had been in a war, or they had a job where they saw a lot of like harsh things. Like I think like police, I often think of seeing kind of hard things sometimes, right? Death, being in the line of fire. And so either way though, they were tough. This person had to be very tough with their job. They were no sissy, so I get the sense that they, and I know I was talking about, like, even on later in life, I think when they had the disability with their legs or, like, walking, even then they were tough, too. Like, I wonder if sometimes they did things that they weren't supposed to do, like, they might have had a disability with, like, their legs later on in life, or they had a hard time walking later on in life, but they would still try really hard. Like, I get the sense that this person just would never quit. Like, they just never quit. They would never give up. They would always do what they had to do, or even more than they were supposed to, and they would always stretch themselves to the limit. Like, I get just a very extreme, intense person off this ancestor pile, too. It's interesting, too, because the Henbane, I didn't even talk about your Henbane yet, which... Let me look at my notes here. I also did a meditation for every single pile before I recorded. We'll talk about what I saw for your meditation pile too, but your Henbane from the Sickle Oracle also talks about how I think it was the Greeks actually, they used Henbane to crown the dead before they moved on to the afterlife, right? They would wear it down, something about the river Styx, which is like, I know, like the river in the underworld that people would cross, right? And so what it means is like, it's like, because of the association of like dressing the dead with the Henbane, it's like, oh, they're almost to a certain goal. You're almost to a certain goal. Sometimes it can also mean, the other interpretation in this deck with Henbane meaning needing to let something go before you get to that final goal. Just like we do when, in the act of death, we move on to the next life, but we leave our bodies behind. So it's kind of like maybe a little bit of a needing to let something go, but also you're almost there to some sort of goal. And I think that's what your ancestor wants to talk about. Also, the things that I saw with your meditation pile too, we'll talk about that now. There were some coins specifically, and there were blood on the coins. So it's like something to do, having to sacrifice to get something, and by the end there was more blood than there were coins. So it makes me almost think that there's some sort of goal maybe that you've been working on that you've had to sacrifice a lot for, that you've really had to pour blood into, metaphorically speaking. And so I think this ancestor, I don't know if you inherited that toughness from them, but I'm getting kind of that sense here, pile too. Like, they worked really hard after their goals, no matter what limitations that they have, or had, I should say, past tense. And it's like, they're seeing that in you now, and that's why they want to talk to you, this ancestor specifically. I also get the sense, too, if this is a male ancestor coming forward that you're recognizing pile 2, they wore a suit a lot. I don't know, but something with a suit keeps coming forward, a black suit specifically. Very interesting. Okay, so that was the ancestor that's coming forward. Let me see what else they want to say to you in terms of their message. You know, they were a risk taker too, weren't they? Yeah. Okay, let's grab, let's do your Dream Ritual Oracle first. So, okay, so Ancestor that's coming forward for pile 2. Thank you so much for everything so far. So we talked about maybe there's like a goal that they're after that they're almost to the end of or getting there, but like they might have had to sacrifice a lot. What else do you want to talk to them about with that? Thank you. We have release. Remember we were just talking about that, like needing to let something go before you get to the end goal, to the finish line. So there's something you need to let go of, is what they're saying today, pile 2. That's really what they want to talk about. Let's, of course, gain some more insight into what that letting go is, or what that means precisely. I do want to do your... Let's grab your Lenormand, too. Anything else with that ancestor? Let's do 3 cards. Can you elaborate more? Thank you. Do they have tattoos too? For some reason, some of them have come. Some of them have tattoos. I don't know. Okay, so we have the promise or the ring. Okay. The cat, loyalty. So loyalty to a promise that you made, and the girl or the child, which can mean pile 2. Literally a girl in your life, a young woman, or literally a little girl. It can also represent the embodiment of youth. So optimism being sometimes maybe naive too. Sometimes a negative connotation. But if I had to read this straight through, your ancestor is saying there's something to be released regarding a goal of like a promise that you've been loyal to either a little girl or like to like a goal that you've been loyal to, and you've made a promise that maybe was a bit naive or was made out of innocence or like optimism at the time, but like maybe things are getting kind of more, like it's been harder to keep to that goal because maybe there's something that's come up where it's like it's harder than it seemed, or there's some aspect to it that if you'd known it going in, you might not have made that promise. Okay, that's what I'm hearing. So releasing. And then, let's see, let's do Divinimation. My little Gravity Falls deck I like to use. Alright, anything else? Context, please, Ancestor. Thank you. Okay, we got 2. That was... Beep, bop, boop. We've got... Okay, so we've got Waddles. And if you're not familiar with the show this deck comes from, I'll just explain. So Waddles is a pet pig, obviously. Loyal, which is funny because we talked about the loyalty with the cat. Loyal, accessorizable, and hungry. So that also makes me think, too, of this goal requiring a lot of blood, like I was saying in the meditation. Like, it's something you've had to sacrifice a lot for. It's hungry. Like, you've had to feed it a lot, like you do a pig, okay? Like, this goal has just been taking up a lot of your time and your resources like a pig does, right? Of course, we love pigs. They're cute, but they do require a lot of sustenance because, you know, they're fat little piggies, right? But... And then loyalty comes up again. And then we have Candy Chew, who is a character, odd cookie, smart, and optimistic. So that's the thing. It was like the girl, too, but it was like optimism coming forward. It's like there was something you were overly optimistic about, but it's like maybe there's something that there's like, it's a little bit of a bump. And so you've been wondering, should I let go of this? Like, because it's not what it seemed. Or it's like maybe I'm being too optimistic and I'm not sure if I should stay loyal to this promise I made. It's like a promise of loyalty, but it's like things have changed. I'm getting this sense. Okay, and then of course, last but not least, we'll have your tarot cards, and then we'll do more readings than that, obviously, but... Okay, let's see the whole story. Can you give me from inciting incident to outcome? What are you seeing with this ancestor? Thank you. Alright. Straight to the point, I like it. So let's see, we got 1, 2, and then this card is like, pick me. 1, 2, 3. Oh, there goes my pencil. 4, And, oh boy, 5, okay. So the inciting incident is the Knight of Swords reversed. Okay. Look at that, there's blood in the background. Got that blood imagery coming up again, obviously like a battlefield. So, you know, once again, it makes me think of them, maybe like they have dealt with death a lot in their life, this particular ancestor, but this is representative of the inciting incident of the situation at hand for you. And a Knight of Swords reversed makes me think of someone who took action with words, maybe a little bit too impulsively, because the Knight of Swords is the Knight of Air, which is communication, which is thought, which is logic, things like that. And so it's like, you know, maybe you promised something that you realized you couldn't keep to. It's like you said something a little bit too early and you're like, oh man, maybe I shouldn't have promised that, or I shouldn't have promised like doing that particular thing. Look at all these swords piled too. 5 of Swords, conflict, battle of tongues. Okay. Maybe someone got kind of upset with you, or you're afraid they're going to. Heart of the matter is the 4 of Wands, is celebration or happiness in the home. Then we've got the Sun reversed, okay, either a lack of truth or unhappiness. And then we've got the 6 of Wands as the outcome. I'll tell you this, pile too. Whatever you're worried about right now, 6 of Wands as an outcome is great, because you know what it means? It means victory. Okay, so you are going to triumph in this situation. Hear me out. There's a good outlook with that coming out as the outcome. But every card before, except for the 4 of Wands, is a little bit of a double-edged sword. Excuse the pun with all the swords, right? So what I'm seeing here, pile 2, is, yes, there's some situation where it was like some promise involved or loyalty involved, and it's like this goal or this person, like you were really optimistic, but it's been taking a lot from you. And you're like, I'm not sure if I should keep going with this person, or if I should keep being loyal to this goal or this person. And it's like you kind of overpromised, or you agreed to something too quickly with the Knight of Swords reversed as the inciting incident. There's something you said too fast before, like, maybe you even really thought it through, or it was like possibly you, like, you said something and then the other person, like, took it in the wrong way, and they took it and, like, ran with it, and then you're like, oh no, I didn't promise that, but they interpreted it that way, so now they're like, hey, I want that thing that you quote-unquote promised me, even if you might not have meant it. Something along those lines is what this ancestor wants to talk to you about. And yes, led to conflict. We have the 5 of Swords, which, you know, battle of tongues, maybe even an argument of some sort. And so the heart of matter being the 4 of Wands, the central card with the rabbits, right? Speaking, hey, good time of year for rabbits. Maybe if it's even something associated with Easter, maybe you're kind of afraid of seeing this person at Easter if it's a family member, like, especially if there's a falling out, or it could be, generally the 4 of Wands means, like, something to do with the home. So it's like, or celebration, and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna look at that card for a moment. It's like you're worried it's going to shake up the happiness of the home, or the happiness of the family, or it's like it's going to divert from a celebration that you were looking for, maybe even the attainment of that goal. And you're like, should I really sacrifice all that to it to keep this home happy, or this group happy? Yeah, something along those lines. And then, you know, the Sun reversed is interesting in the near future card. Lack of truth, lack of happiness. I'm going to grab one more card as clarifier on that, Sun. Ancestor, sorry to bug you again here, but we're having a tarot reader dirt moment. What do you mean by the Sun? One card, please. Oh, it just clicked, but I will pull the card I was going to pull. So we have the 7 of Cups reversed. Alrighty. Separating reality from fantasy. You know what this means, pile 2? You gotta be honest with this person. You gotta tell them the truth. You gotta tell them what you really meant, or you gotta tell them, like, hey, wait a minute, I can't commit to this promise anymore because circumstances have changed. I mean, you know, be apologetic if you have to, because obviously, like, maybe this person will be bummed, but you can't fill everybody else's cup when your own is empty, even if you made a promise thinking that your cup would be full at the time that you thought you would be helping someone else fill their cup. This ancestor is really saying, you know, they appreciate you wanting to keep true to your promises, pile 2. That's an admirable thing. But there's some part of this situation where it's like, it's understandable why you might not be able to keep a promise. And I think as long as you're honest about it and you separate dreams from fantasy, or fantasy from reality, I should say, with that 7 of Cups reversed, and tell the truth. Because that 7 of Cups almost makes me think, pile 2, that the reason why the other person ran with it, or the other people involved, was because it's like it's like you gave them an inch and they took a mile in the assumption. Like, this is kind of a dumb example, but I'll just use this example. It's almost like you saying, hey, I'll give you a piece of my Snickers bar, and they interpret it as, oh, you're going to give me the whole candy bar, right? And you're like, no, I just wanted to give you a piece. But then the person kind of ran with it, and they're like, oh, okay, where's my Snickers bar? I want my whole Snickers bar. And you're like, no, I was going to give you just a little piece of it. Okay, like, that's what I'm hearing. And so, as hard as it is, you're going to have to be honest. But what I'm telling you, pile 2, and what your ancestor is saying, is that if you're honest, it leads to victory with this situation. Triumph. That's what the 6 of Wands means in the outcome. As long as you turn that sun right side up instead of upside down, from dishonesty to honesty, that is the path towards fixing this, okay? Alright. And interesting, too, because, you know, looking back at the meditation I did with the blood on the coins, I almost wonder, you know, looking back, now that we have more of the context, if the blood on the coins was almost like that feeding into this person's, like, delusion of what you promised will hurt you more in the end if you don't just be honest about what you really meant now. Like, it's like, quit drawing blood from yourself just because, like here's the thing, pile 2. This ancestor is saying their misinterpretation of what you meant isn't your responsibility. But it is your responsibility to correct that in a gentle way. Okay? Like, and what they're saying is it's for self-protection. Like, they're saying with the blood metaphor, it's like you're drawing too much from yourself. You're setting yourself on fire to keep others warm. Okay, that's the phrase that I want to use. And so they're saying, like, please do yourself a favor and be kinder to yourself in this situation. Okay, like, please, even if it hurts the other person's feelings, or even if the other person feels like, oh, you ripped me off because, you promised me this thing, blah, 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 which I think was an assumption on their part. I don't think you actually meant it that way, right, pile 2, but that's their problem to deal with because their mind took something and ran off with it. Okay, that's not, or maybe even if you did make a little bit of a slip up, maybe even if it was like a full, bold promise of, hey, I promised this big thing to you, like, if you have a legit reason to say no now, and this person is understanding, they'll accept it, pile 2. They'll understand your circumstances and go, okay, I get why you can't keep that promise. I understand. Okay, and if they have a bad reaction, then they're just being a big baby. I'm sorry. Like, this is what I mean, though, pile 2, is what this ancestor is saying, is it's like, a good person will hear you out and will see your circumstances and understand why you might need to break a promise, okay? Because I get the feeling that maybe you made that promise under a different assumption of where you might be at with, like, resources or with time, okay? Just honesty. If you take anything from this reading, just be honest, and that's your solution to your victory. That's how you get to the end, okay? All right, and then I do want to do just a final few cards of advice from your ancestor here. Ancestor, do you have any other parting advice for pile 2? 3 cards, please. Death. Okay, that means change. You need to make a change of some sort. We got the birds again, look at that. And then we have the Knight of Cups. Okay, you know what the Knight of Cups says, pile 2? It says, take action with your heart and be truthful with your emotions, okay? Be honest about the way you feel about the situation to the people involved, okay? And then you have the Nine of Swords reversed for leaving anxiety. Okay, we got swords again too. They're saying don't feel anxious about the response of the other person or people involved. That's what the Knight of Swords reversed means. Speak true from the heart. That's the Knight of Cups. And death means it's okay to make a change. All right. Once again, too, as I was saying before, I feel like this ancestor had something to do with death, and then death came out, right? And the bird, right? See if there's anything else here before we sign off pile 2. But yeah, that is what your ancestor is talking about. So just remember, anything you walk away with is don't set yourself on fire to keep other people warm. Okay? If they're a good person and you have to retract a promise based on your circumstances, they'll understand. Okay, so that is what I'll leave you with from your ancestor today, pile 2. Thank you, of course, so much to the ancestor that came through for bringing the message forward, but also thank you so much for watching pile 2. I hope you liked the reading. I hope it resonated. I hope it at least helped a little bit. And if so, please like the video, please comment down below, please subscribe to Lone Pine Tarot if you have not done so yet. That just helps me out a little bit, which helps me provide readings for both you and others in the future, forevermore. And as is our tradition, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, pile 2. Hello there, my wonderful pile number 3. Welcome today to your pick a card reading about a springtime message from your ancestor. And as you recall, you were drawn to the very beautiful and timely cherry blossom tree. So we'll set your pile leader off to the left here to start the reading. And then for the very beginning, what I want to do is key into who this ancestor really is. I always kind of feel like that's a good way to set the reading for ancestor style readings. So let's ask first with the Citadel Oracle. That's what I want to use. Ancestor coming in for our wonderful pile 3 today. Can you tell us a little bit more about who you are in a way that they might recognize you? Thank you. Okay, this one says pick me, so we're picking that one. The Catalyst. The element of fire, radical changes and taking control. So could have been a fire sign in their astrological chart, or had many, right? Such placements. We also have more fire, the Spy Master with knowledge and distrust. Okay, so right off the bat, pile 3, this ancestor says to me, someone who dealt a lot with secrets. I don't know if maybe they worked a type of job while they were alive that had to do something like with national secrets, or they worked for a higher up government organization or some sort of company like that that had to keep a lot of things mum, a lot of things quiet. I don't necessarily see that they were specifically a spy, although they could have been, right? Because it is a government type job, obviously, a little bit more under the record type government job. But they dealt a lot with knowledge and exchanging knowledge. Could have even been someone that dealt with protecting knowledge, right? Someone who, I suppose more in modern day, we would think of protecting databases with cybersecurity and things like that. If they did pass away more recently and they had a job where computers were a thing. But definitely fire sign, though. I mean, you know, boop, boop, 2 fires. Also a lot of bird symbolism so far. We have I think that is a cuckoo in the cherry tree. And then the crow, of course, and the Spy Master. And then, let's see, anything else? With the Catalyst, we have radical changes in taking control. I definitely get the sense they were intelligent. I want to say this is a masculine person. So it could have been a grandfather, uncle, you know, far, far back great-grandfather of some sort. Or it could even be a father, too, if your father has passed on already. But something along those lines. But very intelligent. Wicked smart. That's what I'm hearing for this person. Okay. And then we'll also do a Lenormand reading to hear more. What an interesting ancestor, pile 3. This person sounds cool. I don't know if their name started with an M. I'm hearing an M for some reason for the name. All right, let's ask a little bit more. Ancestor, can you tell us more about yourself with 3 Lenormand? Who are you? Thank you. I always get the feeling, too, that they had kind of a... I get dark eyes off this person. They had darker eyes, brown. And they always kind of had a twinkle to their eye, too. Like, they always knew something. I think that's where the knowledge thing might come in, but... Oh, I already flipped that over, but the lily was the third card. Okay. And then, of course, beforehand, we have the mice. Speaking of secrets, the man. Okay, so that's what I was saying, is I feel like this is masculine. I think for sure this is a man ancestor, or male ancestor of yours, pile 3. And then we have the lily. Okay, so what that means is... Interesting. Well, the lily can mean many things. It can mean elderly. It can mean sexuality. It can mean purity. It can mean older family members. And then, of course, we have the man, kind of self-explanatory. And the mice can mean either the decay or loss of something, or sometimes I kind of do see it as like a secretive card, too, because mice are secretive. You don't always see them. They're kind of sneaking around, trying not to get caught. Speaking of the spy master, right? So this person is saying to me, I am somebody who was a secretive man of the family, or it could also mean someone who dealt with a lot of loss in their life, because the mice do represent loss or decay of some sort. And maybe they had kind of an extended death, like maybe their death was kind of a slower disease over many years, is another thing I'm hearing. And 2, the lily can mean... with sexuality. We won't talk about that too much because this is YouTube. I gotta be careful. But, you know, maybe they got around a lot in their life. That could be one interpretation, right? Someone who is very, had a lot of fun times, right? We'll put it that way, right? For YouTube. That's YouTube friendly, family friendly. It could also mean that they were family oriented, because the lily does mean family at times too. So family-oriented, maybe promiscuous a little bit. Someone that had, a longer death, kind of maybe took more over time, over years. Probably a fire sign, like we said. And on top of that, definitely masculine energy I'm getting off of this. Not just because of the man, but also with the fire. Fire is a masculine element in cartomancy. Okay. So that's what I'm hearing for as to who they are. Now, before I did this reading, before I recorded everybody's readings, I did do a meditation for every single pile today. I also took some notes on your pile leader. And your pile leader, pile 3, said something about being a great time for productivity, making hay while the sun shines. So I think part of the message that your ancestor wants to come forward with is something to do with, there's a really good opportunity for something right now that maybe you're not seeing, that they want to point out to you. Like they're like, oh wait, pile 3, you should notice this, because I think this is a good thing for you to look at, or for you to maybe take a peek into. And then what's interesting, and this is the weirdest symbolism I've ever seen in a meditation before, but the meditation I had for you, pile 3, was they were showing me something about white lace wrapped in a bow, and then I was like, well, what is it wrapped around? And it was a rock. Like, literally a rock wrapped in a white lace bow. And I'm like, this is the weirdest thing ever. But, I went with it. It's intuition, right? And I asked, well, what does that really mean? And it was something about something in your life being more useful underneath the wrapping that it's in. And I think this is the opportunity that your ancestor wants to talk to you about. There's something that in your life that it looks pretty on the surface, right? Because the white lace bow is like, oh, look at me. Like, speaking of purity, a white lace bow, we think of, like a wedding dress, or white means purity, like the lily. Okay. Something that seems kind of like, it looks good on the surface, right? But what they're saying is that there's something more even underneath that holds a lot more value that you're not seeing. And they want to point that value out to you so you can capitalize on it, right? So let's see what they want you to capitalize on. And I think part of it, too, being a rock, like, the rock metaphor is weird, but we'll go with it, right? Speaking of rock, look at the catalyst has like a crystal or a rock. I just noticed that. But like, we think of a rock as a burden, as something heavy to carry, but it's not. Something deceptive about it. So let's look at your other cards. Of course, we have tarot, but first I want to do your dream ritual oracle. So Ancestor of pile 3, our little sneaky spy master man, the smart man. Can you tell us more about what opportunity should they seize that they're not looking at? Intuition, follow your gut. Okay. We have the two gold or koi fish. I can never tell if they're goldfish or koi fish, but one of the two, very pretty. Intuition, following your gut. Okay, so that is an indication from this Ancestor pile 3. If you follow your gut right now, that will lead you onto the trail of what this is. There's something that's more than it seems on the surface. And for some reason, the word gold mine is coming through. Like, I'm not saying that, like, as to mean, oh, you're going to hit the mother lode, right? But there's something really valuable, like a gold mine. They're like, I mean, it could literally be money, right? It could also mean, like, some sort of knowledge coming forward, like, that would be really helpful to you, some sort of advice that would really help propel you forward. But follow your gut. You got to follow your gut on this. Too, maybe that's why knowledge came forward with the Spy Master. Like, they want to give you this information. Here you go. I'm the Spy Master. Here's your little secret. This will propel you forward. Okay. Let's also grab, we have the Divinimation Oracle. I'm attached to my Gravity Falls deck, so we're going to use it again today because I feel like it. So, what else do you want to say about this opportunity, Ancestor? Thank you. Okay, for sure this one says pick me, and then I'm feeling this one. Alrighty. Oopsie. Can't pick anything up. What did I say, pile 3? I was like, I feel like this person is very smart. You have, and if you're not familiar with Gravity Falls, I'll explain. So this is a character in Gravity Falls. He's literally like a genius. Very smart. Driven, intelligent, and geeky. Okay, like literally the world's nerdiest old man, he's called. My favorite character in the whole show. Anyways, we have, so Grunko Ford. Driven, intelligent, and geeky. And then the other card that came forward was, oh god, that's cute. Infinity-sided die, endless possibility, unknown outcome. Yeah, it's like this possibility you're not looking into. They're really saying. I'm going to see if there's any symbolism, synchronicities here. I'm not seeing any similar symbols in everything, but it's funny too, because this character, he owns that infinity-sided die. Of course, he's a nerd. He plays D&D, right? Maybe even this Ancestor played D&D if they were a more recent Ancestor. But, yeah, very smart. Whip smart. Endless possibility. You know, and it being the infinity-sided die, to me, that almost means it's like something that you won't know the value of until you give it a chance and you just roll the die and see where it lands. And it's something to do with some sort of like, I don't know if you work in a STEM field, pile 3. Like science, technology, engineering, math, right? I suppose, is it called STEAM now? I think they might have added something else, but STEM, you know what I mean? And if so, pile 3, I think if you work in a STEM field, there's something really like, you have to give it a chance. You have to give it a try. Even if it seems like a ridiculous experiment or like a really odd thing to try, like just... So if you recently in your life have had something where it's like, that looks like the most outlandish thing to try it anyways. Okay, even if it seems like, oh, that's the weirdest thing, like that's not going to work, try it anyway. That's what I'm hearing. Okay, but let's grab your tarot cards too. I love this reading. I mean, of course I love all of my readings, and I love like any ancestors that come through, but... This is probably my favorite ancestor that came through today. Don't tell the other ancestors, otherwise they'll think I'm naughty, but I'm like, I like this ancestor. They're really cool. Okay, so let's do 5 cards. This guy is smart. I don't know, too, like, maybe the secrets were, like, he worked with some sort of technology that, like, he had to be really secretive about, pile 3. Like, cutting-edge stuff. I don't know. Anyways, he's smart, whoever he is. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Thank you, nerdy ancestor. Okay. Card 1, we have the 2 of Pentacles reversed. Once again, we've got that alchemical scientific thing going. Okay. But the 2 of Pentacles reversed means like something is out of balance. Something needs to be balanced. Something needs to be, especially with finances and resources. Okay. Also, it means experimenting, because look at that. Weighing the 2 flasks, or the 2, I suppose you call that like a, what's not an Erlenmeyer flask, because they're not shaped the same way, but you know what I mean. Scientific beaker, there we go. And then we have that is the 4 of Cups reversed. Yes. you didn't notice it before, and then all of a sudden you turn around and pop, there's that opportunity. Okay, yep, so this is just confirming a lot of what I thought intuitively, pile 3. Then we have the heart of the matter is the Page of Cups reversed. Okay, needing to explore more with our emotions, our intuition. Like I was saying before, you'll notice it if you follow your gut. You just got to turn around and trust your gut and try that thing that seems like it would be odd. Okay, and then number 4, hey, 6 of Wands means victory. Fantastico. And then we've got the Queen of Wands. Beautiful is the outcome. Okay, so what they're saying too is this opportunity with the outcome being the Queen of Wands, pile 3, is this is going to lead you on a path, should you seize this opportunity, towards mastering an ambition of yours, because that's what the wands are all about. They're fire, which means our courage, which means the things that we're passionate about. It also means the things that are our ambitions, the things that, it's not necessarily career-minded like pentacles are, but I do see a lot of career energy in wands too, because wands are about what gets us out of bed in the morning, what drives us. Okay, what do we care about in terms of our morality, in terms of our willpower, things like that. Okay. So, it's very interesting too, because the Queen of Wands and the 6 of Wands almost look like the same figure, but with different hairstyles. They got the same coloring, at least. And the opportunity itself, because that's really what I want to get down to the kernel of. What is the opportunity that you're not seeing? And interesting too, we have the shadow puppets. Once again, kind of like the the weird metaphor of the rock wrapped in a lace bow. It's like it looks like something on the surface, but it's like something else is actually casting that shadow. It's a lot bigger. There's more opportunity here you're not looking for. I know I'm repeating that a lot, but I'm trying to glean what is the opportunity. Experiment. That is one piece of advice. Follow your intuition and your gut. It'll be there right when you turn around. Try things that don't seem like they would work on the surface. I'm going to ask blunt questions here, because I want blunt answers for you, pile 3. So, Ancestor, the smart one, nerdy guy, can you tell us more about what is the opportunity, if you can, please? 3 cards, blunt. Besides it being unexpected and they're not noticing right now. So the birds, we've got communication. Lots of birds in this reading. We've got the cat, which is loyalty or friendliness. Or a friend. And then we've got the cross, which is a burden or a sacrifice. So the opportunity, I said blunt. And he says, it's something to do with the communication of a friend's burden. That's how I'd read this, like in a sentence. That's how Lenormand kind of works, pile 3. The communication of a friend's burden. Is there something that a friend of yours or someone that you're close to has been complaining about a lot that you might have an idea for? Or it's like something that it can even be a coworker, if this is job related. They've been complaining about it. They're like, this has been a burden or it's been too much of a sacrifice. And that is a part of the indicator of where this opportunity is. It's an opportunity in a friend's burden. So it's almost like, I don't know, like perhaps maybe like, this is just one example, pile 3. This might not apply to every single one of you, but it's possible that, let's say you have a friend at work and they're saying, I'm getting too burdened with this particular job. I want to leave. They tell you that, and then you think, oh, they're leaving. And let's say their position is a little bit higher than yours. Then them relieving that burden of leaving is an opportunity for you to take their role. Okay, after they leave. And of course, with them wanting to leave, not that you'd sabotage anyone, of course, pile 3, but you know what I mean? Like honestly having the opportunity for the role. Okay, that's just one example. Like a friend saying, I am burdened by this. blah, I'm going to drop this. Or it could also be like maybe like a friend that you're like has a business and they're like, oh man, I kind of want to sell the business, but I don't know who to sell it to. It's just too much of a burden and I want to retire or something like that. That's where your opportunity is coming from. It's something along those lines, pile 3. Something along those lines. And when it comes along, take it. That's what this guy is saying, this ancestor of yours, nerdy dude. He's saying that like it looks like a burden on the surface, like the rock wrapped in a lace bow, but it's more impactful than you think. It's more important than you think. And if you follow your gut, it'll lead you right every single time. Your intuition, let's say. Even if it sounds weird, take a chance, take a roll with the die. Give it a chance. And you might find there's more victory and success with ambition than you expected. Okay, that's what I'm hearing from this ancestor. Oh, I love this reading. This is fun. I always loved connecting to ancestors like this. Okay, so I do want to do just 3 final pieces of advice from this ancestor of yours, smart guy. Final pieces of advice for pile 3. Can you give us? Thank you. Thank you so much, pile 3's ancestor. What else do you gotta say? We have got 5 of Swords. Interesting, because that normally means conflict. And then, oh, I got 2 cards right there. What do you know? Came out together. Came out as a surprise I was not expecting, just like this reading. Okay. We have the King of Swords reversed, and then we have the 8 of Cups reversed. Okay. Interesting advice for this. There's something to do with conflict. I almost want to say pile 3, this is more so of a piece of advice not to create conflict, but to speak up for yourself a little bit more when this opportunity comes along. There might be other people that want this opportunity. And this ancestor is really asking you to please fight for it a little bit more than you normally would, because it is so fortuitous. It's such a good fortune to go for it. So consider battling a little bit for it. Honestly battling. But fighting hard for it. Okay, that's what the 5 of Swords tells me as a piece of advice. Then we have the King of Swords reversed. King of Swords reversed as a piece of advice is say something. Okay? A King of Swords reversed is someone that needs to speak more, especially when it comes to your ambitions, because he is the masculine energy of the swords mastered, right? He also is someone who is willing to defend oneself verbally. A King of Swords is also somebody who is eloquent and speaks with grace, who is talented at speaking. Okay, so maybe do a little bit of preparation for the way that you might vouch for yourself to, fight for this opportunity, things like that. And I want to say, too, there's a little bit of a warning about making sure, because a King of Swords can represent a person, pile 3, as a court card. I want to say that there might be, for some of you, some masculine figure involved. Could be an air sign, because it is a King of Swords, who you should be a little bit wary of in terms of, it might be someone who's competing for this opportunity is what I want to say. And I think because they're a King of Swords reversed, they don't speak very well themselves. That might be also another indicator as to where this opportunity is coming from, if you know someone might be competing for it that fits those traits of that King of Swords reversed. But in general, yes, speak up for yourself more. Okay. And then we have the 8 of Cups reversed, and that means needing to emotionally move on, which is interesting for reading about an opportunity. Part of your reluctance to go after the opportunity, if you intuitively find it and seize it, right, pile 3, is maybe you're afraid of what you're leaving behind. This ancestor, smart dude, he is basically saying, don't be afraid to leave things in the past emotionally. Move forward, because this is a good opportunity. Even if it seems good where you are, emotionally move on from where you are and move forward. Okay. So that was your ancestor reading today, pile 3. Thank you so much for letting me get in tune with the energy of your ancestors. Love this guy, whoever he is. Fantastic dude. Very smart. And of course, thank you to the ancestor who came through for the message today. Of course, we always thank our ancestors when they do help us out. They give us their time. So if you did like the reading, if it resonated with you, if it helped you, please like the video itself. Please comment down below. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not done so yet. That just helps me out a little bit, which helps me provide more readings for both you and others in the future. And as is our traditional Lone Pine Tarot, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, pile 3, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye.